So today in Stadia news, we have Blizzard having people fill out a survey if they want to play their Diablo games on Stadia, and well, I have quite a few thoughts on this one, so I really hope someone at Stadia is listening. Then we have 2 games that were announced to come soon. Finally, we have some footage of Stadia working on Xbox, and I'm going to have the details on that. All that in this Stadia news video. Make sure you guys subscribe to always be up to date with Stadia news by hitting that red button for near daily content, as well as that notification and like button. So let's start with something that actually came out some days ago on Reddit from a user named Sensei, who had the opportunity to experience the recent Diablo 2 Resurrected alpha test, where he was given a survey to fill out afterwards. And in this survey, there is a question about what platforms they want to see Diablo 2 on. Now, there is the usual suspects like Xbox, Nintendo, Switch, even mobile. But then there is what appears to be streaming services like Stadia and GeForce Now. With that, this doesn't mean that Diablo is coming to Stadia, but what this actually does indicate is that it's on their radar and it's something that they are gathering data about. Now, for me, on a selfish and personal reason, there is almost no other games I'd love to see on Stadia than the Diablo franchise. I think I have something like 3,000 hours on Diablo 3, and I have no doubts I'm probably going to spend a couple of 100 hours on Diablo 4 and even Diablo 2 Resurrected. Now, action RPGs are a genre completely missing on Stadia. The closest thing we have is maybe Darksiders Genesis, but the game has no loot and no real customization in regards to the character, and honestly, it's a shame because ARPGs are very mobile-friendly games, and the Diablo titles are set to make a lot of noise when Diablo 2 Resurrected comes out this year, and Diablo 4 set to come potentially 2022. Now, I can really go on this topic for quite a few reasons. There is a lot of nostalgia with this game. There is a good chance that there is a segment of older gamers who haven't played video games in a while who would love to dive into this and maybe not even own a console or any hardware themselves to actually play the game itself. Well, cue in something like Stadia that could bridge that gap. Not only that, but having Blizzard titles would be huge. We are still lacking competitive shooter games. We have nothing like Overwatch on Stadia, just PUBG, which is a battle royale. So even having Overwatch would be a big deal, especially since Overwatch 2 is set to come out this year. I guess overall what I'm saying is it's great to see Blizzard is gathering some data to see if streaming services could be in their future. But ultimately, I'm hoping the powers that be at Google are seeing this and going, all right, let's make a deal. And I think this would be very mutually beneficial for all parties, including helping the growth of Stadia itself. So I guess that's my plea right there. And let me know down below, guys, would you love to see the Blizzard games on Stadia, Diablo, or even Overwatch 2 or even 1? I'm curious if I'm the only one out there. And while this is a positive sign that Blizzard is trying to gather data with this survey, hopefully this is the start of some good stuff in regards to Blizzard games coming to Stadia, hopefully in the near future. So Stadia announced 2 games coming soon, Legends of Keepers, which at this point I've talked to death about. It's a great game and I'll be diving into it this week in early access. Should be a good one when it comes out on the 29th, but the newest title set to come is none other than the infamous Farming Simulator 22, set to come this fall of this year, and it's coming with a set of improvements to the more realistic AI behavior, richer worlds, and improved sounds. It's going to be featuring over 400 machines, tools, and authentic agriculture brands. And of course, who doesn't love to harvest some good old corn, tomatoes, and all that jazz? One of the cool things will be the multiplayer and co-op that you can do, which will feature up to 16 players, which, guys, is insane. I mean, that is a lot of harvesting and sowing among 16 players. I guess you're going to be able to accomplish a lot with all that. I mean, I can't wait to see the wild, crazy online parties people are going to be having with Farming Simulator 22. Should be a fun one and a game that I am looking forward to when it comes out this fall. So it looks like we finally have some footage of Stadia working on the Edge browser on Xbox and showcasing Stadia on it, and in this footage it looks like he's using keyboard and mouse. Tom Warren is also playing Cyberpunk on Stadia, and I think that is pretty cool. I mean, essentially what this means is if you're a fan of Stadia, also a fan of Game Pass, well, you can have it all on one box, and you can also do things like surfing the web, but playing Stadia on it is going to be the most neat thing about this, right? Now, the curious thing would be is if you can get this to work with the Stadia controller on there instead of the the keyboard and mouse, and I think that's something that I would love to test. But I can see this being beneficial for Stadia itself, for those who are interested in the Stadia Pro games. And if you want to have Xbox Game Pass, well, there you go. And like I said, it covers it all in one box. But I think what I'm really going to be curious to see is if Microsoft decides somehow to disable this, or if they'll just keep it going. Maybe, of course, I don't think they would want to keep it because they do have their own streaming thing going on with xCloud, and why would they want a competitor playable on their own box? But again, this is still in beta and a lot of changes can still happen, but it will be interesting to see when this releases soon and see how playable and how workable this all is, especially with the Stadia controller. With that, guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. Would you love to see the Diablo games on Stadia or even other Blizzard titles like Overwatch? Also, are you as hyped as I am about Farming Simulator 22? Because, oh boy, nobody's going to be more hyped than me. And finally, do you think you would use Stadia on your Xbox if you own one? I'm curious on your comments on that. Like always, subscribe, like, and hit that bell for near daily content. I'm Sunny, and like always, I'll see you in the clouds.